Hello again. So today we're going to do a bit of a tent review. So it's the difference between a budget one-man lightweight tent and a very expensive two-man lightweight tent. We'll look at the pros and the cons of both, the differences, why you would potentially go with this one over this one, and vice versa. Welcome back. As you can see, both tents are now set up. I do apologise for the audio. I forgot to bring my mics when I set them up, and the tents are already set up now, so I'm not going back for it. I'll give you a bit of a look around the tents now, let you know some of the different features, some of the obvious ones, some of the not so obvious, just sort of talk you through everything. So one of the big feature differences that you'll notice in the two tents is the Tarptent is considerably bigger than the Alpkit. This is because it's a two-man. It also has two vestibules and double doors. The Alpkit, as you can see, is a lot narrower. It is single doored, which is just from the front. They have very similar poles. They both have one main central pole on them. That's the one on the Alpkit. Obviously, you saw this one is on the one on the Tarptent. With regards to both the tents, the materials on both these tents differ quite a lot. The Tarptent is made out of something called Ultra TNT. It's a very, very strong fibre. It doesn't actually come with guy lines because they claim it doesn't need it because it's very, very strong. It's not fully cinched out the moment, but this material does not flex at all. It's very, very good, very strong. It also has a hydrostatic head of 140,000 millimetres, which is more than anybody's ever going to need. The one issue that is for this fabric, it's a very, very noisy fabric. You get this same noise throughout the day as you do during the night. Wind will cause this as well as setting it up. This is a noise that apparently over time does dull down. I have noticed it a bit in the time I've had this tent. This noise is a lot quieter than it was when I got it. The Alpkit is made out of 15D ripstop nylon. It is a hell of a lot quieter. There's virtually no noise from this. But as you can see, there's a hell of a lot of flex within the fabric. So it's a big difference. The hydrostatic head on this is only 5,000 millimetres, which is more than enough you're ever going to need. The Tarptent is a bit overkill with theirs, but that's just how the fabric is. This fabric also isn't as hard wearing as that will be. With regards to how the doors open on the tent, on the Alpkit Soloist, this is the XL model as well. It opens that. You have got double zips. You've got one on each side. And then this has, you just roll it up, and you've got an elasticated toggle system. Take that back, you don't have an elasticated toggle system, it's just a toggle system, and then you're free to get into the door. The door just opens like that, one-handed thing. One of the key things that I don't like about this is the door to get inside it is tiny. I'll get Dylan to demonstrate getting into it because I'm probably not going to get in it myself. As you can see, it's quite a squeeze getting in. Getting in and out that during the night is not going to be the easiest. One of the things I do like about this tent is the amount of room there is inside. As you can see, if Dylan shifts to one side, there is more than enough room for your bags and things like that. Your ears up against the side, but you would fit stuff in. I'd say this is more a 1.5 person tent or a comfortable one person. With regards to tie out points, you have a singular one at each side, which is just put in with your Alpkit pegs. It has very thin plastic adjusters on it, which are quite difficult to adjust, but that also means there's no real pull the other way. The Tarptent comes with, once again, you've got double doors on this, but you've got YKK zippers on it, very easy access, single-handed use, and they are double zippered. So at the top I have another zipper, so I can zip that down if I want to get some ventilation for cooking, like so. So open the tent up, I'll show you what the door looks like open. This has magnetic door openings on it. So once again, you roll it up. One thing I have found with these is that I don't particularly like the magnetic openers on them. If you catch the door like this, they do come open. For me, it's a bit of a flaw, but I know a lot of people that I've seen that use similar tents with the magnetic door holders, they just bring a closed peg to peg it, so it's no big deal. Both doors do open on this, so I'll show you the other one. so you can have it fully open from the front. As you can see on the inside, so once again, single zip operation, and once again has a double zip. So zip it up. Once again, like I said about the door, captured. These rubbish magnetic things do shut. A lot of premium tents coming in. It's not a feature that I found anybody likes, but yeah, I have got the second zipper at the bottom as well. Regards to getting in, this place is absolutely like a palace on the inside. So if I get to one side of this tent, there's more than enough room for a second person. It's actually quite a big tent for a two-manner, really good size. This also, as you can see, has a mesh inner because it is more of a summer use. And on the inside, at the top and the inside, it has the gear loft, which I paid a bit extra for. This is for things like putting my headlamp in. I can put my down jacket on the top here. It does have really good adjusters on it. I could put washing on there to hang. I think it's about an extra £10 that. It's a really, really good feature to have. This is something I firmly believe that all tent manufacturers should be looking at putting in. It's a really, really good feature. So both of these tents have a really good feature where you can put an awning out with the addition of trekking poles. What I'll do is I will set them both up and I'll show you the differences in both of them and how the awnings work with both. What I'll do is I'm going to do a singular review of both tents as well. So as you can see, the Tarptent's now set up with its vestibule. This is done by, it actually has an extra velcroed bit there that comes in. It's an extra piece of fabric that comes off one of the doors. It's quite low, but in rainy conditions this will be ideal for just cooking, making sure you can get something to eat, and just having that extra bit of shelter. It really, really opens up the tent. The other good feature with the trekking poles for this is you can actually turn the tent into a freestanding tent with the trekking poles, but I'll share how to do that when I do the full video on this tent. One of the good features about this tent is you can actually use the singular peg that you take out from the door to pan out both of these two doors. One of the big features that I don't like about it is the fact that it doesn't come with any guy lines itself, so all the guy lines that are on this tent I've had to supply myself. But it's a small niggle, it's not expensive.
Right, as you can tell, it's not as tall as we expected. My head's touching the top. Good thing about it is you can still cook in it. It's got these little bits here, so you've got a bit of a wind fender. However, you've got the rest of the side to matter for, because the rest of the side, a lot of wind come through.
Another feature that you get with the difference of the Alpkit to the Tarptent is it isn't quite as structurally sound, and as you can see it needs to use 2 guy ropes, which mine doesn't. It does, however, come with extra guy ropes, and it does come with extra pegs, so this is everything you need in the box, whereas with the Tarptent you have to pay extra. Once again, that's a common thing with expensive tents. For some reason you pay more, you get less. The structure of it is better with that, but you've got to expect the extra costs. So I'll talk a bit about pricing on these two tents and see where you think your money would lie. There's a massive difference in costings for them. So the Alpkit came in at £135 posted to the door. The Tarptent cost me the best part of £700 by the time it came to my door. It was, I think it was about $550 US when I bought it from Tarptent in America. And then I had to then pay $50 in delivery costs, and then on top of that it was another £200 to bring it into the UK, so it was quite a lot of money by the time I got it. It is openly the best tent I've ever had. It is a phenomenal tent. It's bomb proof, it does everything you want it to, it's never ever going to leak, but I could buy 6 of them for the same price of one of these. So which would I buy? Well, ultimately it would be the Tarptent. That's the one I did buy. But is it worth it? Is it worth that extra money? And I think it depends on what you want and what your budget is. For me, it was, I wanted something like that. I've worked hard for it. I wanted a fancy tent. I'd looked at things like the Durston X-Mids. I'd looked at Hillebergs, but I wanted something that was slightly different to what everybody else had. Something a bit unique that still met them needs for me. And that's what I've got. It is bigger, but there's a lot of other tents you can get for that are similar sort of prices to the Alpkit. You know, if you go for things like some of the nature hikes, and it's going to be a bit heavier. These both weigh in at 1.3 kilos, so there's no difference in weight between the two. And if you was to get something like one of the nature heights, you may be pushing 2 kilos, but it's 700 grams. You could probably save that elsewhere. And like I've said before, I could save that off me. The Alpkit is a tent that Dill's been looking at for a long time. He really, really likes it. For him, he probably opts for that. It's a lot more budget friendly. It's going to get you out easier. You know, I wouldn't recommend anybody start with something like the Tarptent. It's a lot of money when you may not enjoy going, whereas the Alpkit's going to serve you perfect. If you want to do a budget, lightweight setup, you're not going to beat that tent. It's got lots of room in it. The doorway is a bit of an issue for me. I think it's a bit small. It could have been a bit taller, but that's one of them things. It's a sacrifice you take, you know. They've got to keep it lighter weight somehow, and reducing on materials is a good way to do that. Both tents, I think, would stand up really well in wind. So, like I said, the takeaway for this is it's you pick which one you want. Which would you have? Put me a comment below. Let me know. Where would your money lie? Would you have something different? Would you go for something like the X-Mid or a Hilleberg? Obviously, Hillebergs aren't going to be light. You're going to have the extra weight with that. But, you know, where would your money lie? For me, I absolutely love the Tarptent. It's different. I'd go out on a limb and say it's probably no more than maybe 10 of this model of it in the country, if that. Whereas there's going to be a lot more of them. There's going to be a lot more with your Durstons. I like that it's unique. I like that it's like a space shuttle. It's a good tent for me. But like I said, ultimately Dylan absolutely loves that. So the choice is yours, you know. And it shows how individual people are, and that's the way you've got to view these things. Work to your budgets, work to what you like, and if you can get somewhere to test the tent out, do it. And if there's a takeaway you can get from me buying the Tarptent, check what your import costs are going to be beforehand, because I pay more on import for that than I have done on most of the tents I've ever owned. So it's one of them. But at the end of that, like I said, they've both been reviewed, they've both been compared. Both have pluses, both have minuses. Both would make it into my kit. So, like I said before, your choice to decide. I'll do an individual review of both of them, and they will appear over the next few days within the channel. So